Why on earth would anybody want to go on a 10,000-mile motorcycle ride? Welcome to Cruise Through HTX. I'm your host, Freddie Cruz. This is a show for those who want to learn about the businesses, organizations, and individuals that make the greater Houston area great. One such individual is Mike Hazelriggs. You ask him why he's riding from Daytona, Florida to Homer, Alaska. He'll give you plenty of reasons, including the fact that he is riding for his fiancée. He's riding to raise money for breast cancer awareness, and in part, he's riding for himself. If you enjoy this conversation, please consider sharing and subscribing to the show from my website, cruisethroughhtx.com.
Hi, I'm Ed Sheeran. This is Bruno Mars.
Hey, it's Katy Perry.
This is your man Flo Rida with Freddie Cruz.
This is AJ Mitchell with Freddie Cruz.
Freddie Cruz.
Freddie Cruz.
Just let you go pick Mr. 305 and you already know what it is.
My name is Freddie, and it's time to cruise through HTX. How did your experience working at Astroworld for $1.65 an hour inspire or impact or influence you riding 10,000 miles for charity?
Boy, that's out of left field. I think my experience at Astroworld taught me a lot about people. Dealing with people at their best and their worst, dealing with the screaming kids and the heat and everything else, but also seeing the wonder in children's faces. That gets you understanding people a lot more. And I think the 10,000 miles with my best friends and doing it for people that I may not know, but I know I'll make an impact on their life. But it's like a full circle thing.
What was your favorite memory when you worked there?
The first day that we opened the Texas Cyclone, and people have been waiting for years, or since it was announced, to ride the Cyclone, and we got to ride it first, obviously, because we had to test it out so we could explain it to people. And I think us being able to ride it every day, arms up, not as many rules as the regular passengers, was probably my favorite memory.
I bet it's not like that in 2024 with all the safety codes and regulations and
No fun anymore.
No fun. Yeah.
Hence the need for a 10,000-mile ride.
Right, yeah. Okay, so your nickname is Squatch.
Yes, sir.
And how did that come about?
I think probably physical description more than anything else. Back when I was leaving Sam Houston, my hair wasn't quite as long, but beard and everything, I'm typical hippie-looking thing. And so Sasquatch came about, and it kind of stuck over the years. And when I was looking for a road name for this, usually they're gifted you, and that had been gifted me long ago, and I decided to resurrect it just because I thought it'd be a good. Nobody else was Squatch, and it fit. So,
love it. All right, so we got the Hokahay Motorcycle Challenge. It's 10,000 miles. It begins in Florida, ends in Homer, Alaska.
Yes, sir.
And what kind of preparation goes into this kind of ride?
There's a lot in that. Not only the mechanical side of it. I personally purchased a brand new motorcycle for this because of the stress that's on it. You do a lot of iron butt rides. Those are typically 1,000 or more miles in less than 24 hours.
You said iron butt miles?
That's a legitimate organization. So iron butt is referred to as, and they have different tiers and different rides and everything else. You can do just a regular saddle sore 1,000 where you do 1,000 miles in 24 hours. They have bun burners and bun burner gold. So bun burner would be, or silver would be 1,536 hours. Bun burner gold would be 1,500 miles in 24 hours. You build your body's endurance up and you start understanding what foods do I need to eat, keep fueled, where I don't get as sleepy, where I can still maintain concentration, that kind of stuff.
And not 10 cups of coffee over the span of 2 hours.
Coffee is bad because then you have to stop.
Yeah, obviously.
And typically our stops and gas stations are 5 minutes or less. We fill up and we go, and then probably every other gas station, which is each gas stop's about 200 miles, we'll go inside and do other things and then come back out.
Okay, yeah, and that's an aspect of the 10,000 mile ride that I never really took into account. It makes a ton of sense though, because you don't want to be stopping all the time. You got to watch what you eat, because if you eat the wrong thing and it disagrees with your stomach, and there's not a gas station around, which means there's no toilet paper around, and that could probably start to get really uncomfortable.
Well, we carry a lot of that stuff with us. If you think about it, we're going to be out on the roads for 20 hours a day. So you're in the dark, light, sunrise, sunset. But especially going through barrens, in the Southwest or up in Canada, areas like that, there is nothing around. And you don't have the opportunity for a nice gas station to stop at.
We're going to stop at Buc-ee's. Oh, wait.
Buc-ee's needs outlets up there, but we don't have any. But then you'd have to wait for gas. So there's that side.
So what do you eat? What can you eat that's going to sustain you and give you energy, like the natural energy that's not the caffeine boost that has you like,
You got to be real careful, and everybody's different, and I hate that as an excuse and a cop-out. What I've found I do better on carbs like rices and pastas and stuff like that. I can't eat much at a time, because if you do, then you fall into that tryptophan pass out type thing.
Food coma,
and plus you're uncomfortable because when you ride a motorcycle, it requires all your concentration. You could still concentrate on all the beautiful things and the things you got to watch for, animals and stuff like that. But if you're uncomfortable, that's a terrible place to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. And you also have a goal to reach Homer. And if you're worried about the
silly things.
Yeah, silly things, then you're not going to get there. I mean, I imagine there are people who don't complete the ride?
About 1/3 in the past. About 1/3 don't complete the ride for whatever reason. And in many cases, mechanical failure, you'll have, again, we got to worry about things like animals and vehicles and all that kind of stuff. And then some people, even I going into this, I don't know what I'm capable of. That's part of the challenge. We have to come to understand what's actually in us. And that was the whole concept of challenging people to not only put you in physical discomfort, but spiritual and emotional and all those other things. Just like building a soldier, you tear people down to build them back up.
It reminds me a lot of David Goggins. You heard of David Goggins? Former Navy SEAL, weighed close to 300 pounds, went into the Navy recruitment office, was essentially laughed out because he needed to lose 100 pounds, lost 100 pounds, became a SEAL. They call him the toughest man on earth. And he talks about the governor. The governor is the thing inside your mind that when things get hard, that most of us humans collectively, we stop at 40%. So every car has a governor. In your case, a motorcycle, that once you reach that 80, 90 miles per hour in that car, the car starts to act like, whoa, slow down. Even though you know that the car is capable because it shows on the odometer, you can go up to 180, it's still freaking out, right? And so he's basically calling your mind, like you've got this internal governor that's saying, well, hold on, Freddie, or hold on, Mike. You don't want to do this. You're at mile 4,000. Are you sure you can handle it? Are you sure? But he's like, if you just keep going, you have no idea what you're capable of doing. And that's sort of a paraphrase of what he talks about.
I think that's exactly what I'm looking for. I mean, I'm 65 now, and I need to know what's left in me. And I think that voyage of discovery will be what I gain out. That's what I hope to gain out of it. And every person that I've talked to, they've been so helpful. You've conditioned your body and everything else. It comes down to it's mental. It's just forget for right now. Take that next step. And we've always heard that in our whole life is take the next step and then see where you're at.
Yeah.
So
it's Alex Hormozy, business guy, very successful, significantly younger than the two of us, talks about 1,000 golden BBs and not one silver bullet. And so it's that mile by mile, by quarter mile, by quarter mile. What was it? Fast and Furious. It's like you're living life a quarter mile at a time or whatever it was, right?
And how do you eat a whale?
Yeah.
bite at a time. So
Right.
it's all the same direction, and you just got to remind yourself that, I'll never have this opportunity again. It will never be today again. I have to use it today. So,
and you've got a purpose for why you're doing this. You're beyond the self-discovery sort of, you're 65 and you want to see what you've got left in the tank. You've got a lot riding, no pun intended, on what you're doing, because this is very personal for you. You're raising money for the Rose.
right. I've been associated with the Rose for quite a while. We used to participate in the Bikers Against Breast Cancer, and we did that because my fiancée of 13 years now, we started dating when she was diagnosed and went through chemo, radiation, and reconstruction, and we thought we were clear, and now it's returned. And to me, this is in kind of a bent way, I guess, this is my hope of putting karma out, that maybe I'll get some more time with her.
There's a quote that, per Kathy's direction, if I can't save her, try to save others. And you talk about never being able to unhear that. Can you walk me through when you had that conversation with her?
So when I've known of Hokahay since 2015, and to me they were always riders that were bigger in life and had achieved more than almost anybody that can ride the distances that the Hokahay riders from all over the world come to do this event. And I'd fallen into the group that were long distance riders that are world renowned and hold world records here in Houston, and found that it was something I enjoyed. And they kept talking about Hokahay, and I admired their patches and everything else. And what I really admired was the family. So when I approached Kathy and my daughter saying, this is something I think I want to try, first off, I didn't think I'd get a good reception with that. And then to have both of them turn around and say absolutely, and then in my next breath it was, I think this is something that we continue our tradition with the Rose. And by then Kathy had been diagnosed again with her metastatic, and that's when she dropped that line on me. And I'm a big guy. That'll cripple you.
Yeah.
So,
well, what you're doing is incredible, and you had started out with the initial goal of $10,000, and you have handily surpassed that goal. Why don't we talk about it?
I'm very pleased. I've been very, very fortunate in that I've had some benefactors. It seems like everybody that I talk to, and I'm pretty familiar with all the breast cancer stuff now, both as a caregiver and going through the system, everybody's been touched by this. And everybody has wanted to participate in one way or the other. And I've had very generous donations, but I'm just as appreciative of the $5 and $10 ones as I am the company match ones and stuff. So I'm over $2 a mile now, so I'm over 20,000. And during the time that we're riding, I'm hoping that maybe that'll click up a little bit more, only because I can see for the first time a single person can make a difference. It isn't just, a group and organization needs to be involved, but I know for a fact how the Rose uses the money. I know how they're rated, and that the money is not going to the CEO to buy new planes and stuff like that. So I know that we're impacting the local community, and I've seen those women in the waiting room.
Yeah.
And how do you walk away from that?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
roundabout way of getting an answer to you, but that's what got me there.
Yeah, and that's what this is about, is having these deeper conversations and really getting into the reason why you're doing this and how you've done it, and the community that has rallied around you to just surpass this goal by twofold and probably 3, 4, 5-fold by the time you get out there. That would be great. Please donate, everybody.
Maybe they can have mobile mammography motorcycles or something. Who knows?
If there are any billionaires that might just so happen to run into this interview, please. You talk about the Rose being one of these organizations that it's a platinum rated by GuideStars. I've got my notes right here, and Dorothy and Dixie they've created quite the organization that has served close to 1 million women over the past 37 years. My math is wrong, but it's close to 40 years, and they started when it was not very easy for women to get to get started in such things. And when you think about how hard it was for them to start a nonprofit like this, how hard it was for women to even get treated for breast cancer. And Mike was one of our guests for the Roses podcast, Let's Talk About Your Breasts. So you've got to check his interview out with Dorothy as well. And I want to touch on the perspective of a caregiver, and any advice you would have for somebody, whether it's a spouse, a fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend. It could be any kind of cancer, maybe not cancer, maybe MS or something else, debilitating disease, and what your advice would be for somebody who is about to embark on the journey that you've been through.
Couple things. It's a scary place. Don't be scared. Realize that the person with whatever the compromise is, they need you. They need your help. And I think it's almost like the ride, 1 foot every day. Keep moving forward and realize it makes a difference. The only other thing that I'd throw in there, and I've always encouraged people when we were doing the breast cancer meetings and stuff like that, is you have to make time to refill your cup. If you do not refill your cup, you can't be there for the person that you're caring for. Don't hold grudges for people that can't handle it, because it's extremely common that people can't handle being a caregiver for anybody who's heavily compromised. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And then get out on a motorcycle, ride 10,000 miles to raise money for people.
That is the advice. Yeah,
that's the advice.
Go ride
Everybody
10,000. It's easy.
Let me finish first so I get the patch, but that's it.
I love that. And I want to ask a bit of a follow-up to that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you talk about refilling your cup? What would you tell somebody who is actually in the fight? Mm-hmm. They haven't just started; they're in the fight. They've been in this for whether it's 6 months or a year, and dark days have been there for a while, and they don't know, or they just, I don't know if give up is the right word, but it's hard, it's challenging. What is your advice for somebody going through that dark time as a caregiver? That wants to be there, that wants more than anything to be there, but it's just daunting.
I think that's common to every caregiver. And not only that, but you can't show it. You can't show it to the patient. You can't show it to the people outside. And men are notorious, or I hate to be sexist, but we're notorious at internalizing stuff. There will be hard times. Know that from the get-go. There will be hard times. And it may not end, with rainbows and everything else. But I can't think of a more worthwhile effort in a person's life that you can truly make an impact on another person, and you can see that impact. And they may not be grateful. They may be angry. That's very common. Their situation's terrible. But you know that you're the one making them able to breathe their next breath and give them some kind of peace at times. So it hurts and it sucks, but you get way more back than you do given. And you don't do it to get anything out of it. But when you look back on it and you realize that you received more than you ever gave, I think that's what makes it worthwhile.
It's embracing the struggle, embracing the journey. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to the ride. One day at a
Embrace
time.
the suck.
Yeah, embrace the suck. Yeah, yeah. Wow. So it's the toughest ride for the toughest riders on Earth. 10,000 miles of pure adrenaline. It's the Hokahay Motorcycle Challenge. Starts in Florida. Now, what town?
So we're going to go to Daytona, meet there.
Okay.
That was a host Harley dealership there. Then we will ride down to the Keys as a group, probably about 200 bikes. We'll all have trackers, so everybody can watch this charade from this crazy circus from home, but you'll be able to see where everybody is. And then from the Keys, they'll turn us loose, and you'll see us go across the continent to like the Arizona, New Mexico area.
Okay.
If the only reason we know anything, because we will not know until we get there for Daytona about our directions. We won't know where we're going. We get turn-by-turn directions. There is no GPS, and we are given directions in Daytona to get us down to the Keys, and it turns us loose. We end up going over to, I think, Pig Trail in Arkansas, and then Arizona, New Mexico, back up to Sturgis during the rally, which is going to be just awful.
No hangovers whatsoever.
Yeah, you can't do any of that. But mainly the people as you're trying to navigate roads and stuff. So we're going to go through the Keys during high tourist season on the bridges going over, which is a problem. We can't get any moving violations because then you're disqualified. So each one of the 3 stops and then crossing into Canada, the 3 stops, we get our directions to the next stop. So it's all turn-by-turn directions.
Wow. Printed out on MapQuest.
No, it's like computer green bar paper, believe it or not. It's like, okay, about 150 miles, take a right. And that could be 160, 170, 130. You don't know. You just have to look for that road. And it could be 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. So, and raining.
Wow.
So that's therefore the challenge.
That is the challenge, but it's all worth it.
Every rider is riding for their own charity. So what you hear with my passion, multiply that by 200, and a lot of military support, a lot of first responder support groups, a lot of cancer support groups. I'm rather proud that I just cleared my first year of being cancer-free myself. So
no way. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Congratulations, my man.
Thank goodness to interventional radiology, which is a thing apparently here at the Med Center. I'm very grateful. So really I wasn't impacted that much, but cancer groups are heavily represented in the charities, and then indigenous peoples are supported by the ride itself.
Yeah.
So usually it's over $500,000 of funds raised for charity.
That is amazing. So y'all, I'm going to put the links in the show notes. Mm-hmm. It's HokahayMotorcycleChallenge.com. And then Mike has got his individual link where you can support the Women and Men of the Rose, providing free breast health care at no charge. In fact, 3 insured patients will help to provide 1 uninsured patient a critical screening, life-saving support at the Rose. They provide this care for 43 counties across Southeast Texas. And the link is the Rose. Am I looking at this right? therose.org/Squatch1197?
Yes.
All right. There you go. All right. So
that's a charity one. I'll give you all my other links for my podcast and Lauren's, or Kathy's podcasts, and Lauren's my daughter, and all the other stuff too.
Fantastic. So the link's in the show notes. Mike, my man, good luck. Congratulations on being cancer-free. You sprung that one up on me. God bless you, man. Oh, man. Really appreciate you taking the time to join the show.
Oh, I enjoyed the heck out of it, as always. Thank you.
Thank you.